Howdy folks, we're going to look at the solution to project 3 here. So let me start up a new project in IntelliJ and we'll get going. We'll call this one project 3. It's going in the GitHub repository here. Remember, you can go find all this code I show in class here on the GitHub repository. That link is back in the course content or course information section. So we'll make this. Yeah, we don't actually really need anything here in main. We're just going to completely ignore this. We're going to add our own new Java class. This Java class will be the geocache. And the idea with the geocache, right, is we're going to have attributes for latitude, longitude, hint, item, and like count. So let me zoom that in a little bit here, and we'll make a couple attributes. So we're going to have some private attributes. We'll have a private string for latitude, a private string for longitude. Now, if you did these as numeric values, that's okay. I think they're probably easier as strings, is all here, because the way we format these is a little funny here. And then we'll have a private string for item. We'll have a private string for the hint. And then we'll have a private integer for the like count. This is the number of times this geocache has been liked. Okay, we're going to include a constructor that accepts values for latitude, longitude, hint, and item, not like count, because like count is going to start to 0. So every new geocache has not been liked. So we could write our own, or we could say we want to go and generate a constructor, and we want latitude, longitude, item, and hint. Great. And then we'll set like count equal to 0. All right, so we've got our constructor. Fantastic. Then we're going to need get methods for all of our attributes, right? Include get methods for accessing their values here. This idea that we don't have set methods for latitude, longitude, and hint means they can't be changed. So you set the value in the constructor, and then we can't change them again here. The item can be changed, right? Sometimes you change out the geocache item there, and the like count is going to increase by 1 with like. So we need get methods here. So again, we could write them ourselves, or we could just add getters here for everything. So I'll shift click down to the bottom, add them all. Now I have all my get methods that will return the values. And we wanted a set method for the item. So we could write it ourselves, or just generate it again here. So a setter here only for item, which is fine. So we just changed the item. And then we need a method for like. So public void like here takes our like count, and adds 1 to it. And that's it. That's our geocache class. So it can store the latitude, longitude, item, hint, and like count for any geocache we want. And then we can interact with it with these public methods, the like method, the set item method, or any of the get methods here. Now we need to go test it. So I'm going to right click the class and then say go to test. It'll say I don't have any, so yes, let's go make some here. And the geocache test is great. We want to test like, we want to test set item, and we're going to test constructor. So we don't really need to test any of those get ones separately. It's going to light up red at first, and then our little hint here should say, hey, let's add JUnit 5.8.1 to the class path. That's great, and then it should fix all those red lines for us here. And then we'll test these. So we're going to follow that AAA format. So this is, we're going to arrange our variables, we're going to act, and then we're going to assert. So to arrange variables for like, that's probably 2 R's there, right? I'll have an int for the expected like count. So it starts off at 0, and then, 0, and when you like it, it should increase it to 1. So I'll say its expected like count is 1, and then I'll make a geocache. We'll just call it geocache equals a new geocache. And again, we don't actually care about any of these values. So latitude, longitude, whatever, all those can just be blank strings here. We don't need to know about the item, we don't care about the hint, and that's it. So that's the code I need to set up my test. And I'll act. I'm going to test the class. I'll say geocache.like. We'll call that like method, and then we'll get the actual value back out. So I'll have an actual like count is going to be my geocache.getLike count. Then we can assert, does the expected match the actual? So we'll assert equals here. My expected value matches the actual value. That's the test for like. Okay. And then for set item here, a similar idea here. We'll arrange, act, and assert. But now we're not going to have an expected like count. We'll have a string for the expected item. Here we might say is, how about a shiny rock? So I'm going to start it off at nothing here. So generally it's good practice to make sure that actually changes for you here. So start it at nothing rather than giving it a value. And then we will call set item given the expected item. And then I'll have a string for the actual item is equal to my geocache.getItem. And then I can assert that the expected item matches the actual item. All right, we're good so far. Now we also need a test for the constructor. So I need to kind of copy some of this stuff here. I'll say this is our constructor here. So now we are going to care about these things we give it, the latitude, longitude, item, and hint. So I'm going to have a string for the expected latitude is, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, a string for the expected longitude. Again, we'll do longitude, we'll say is like 2, 3, 4. We'll have a string for the expected item. How about a shiny rock again here, because that's fun, right? A shiny rock. And then a string for the expected hint is going to be a, I don't know, look on the ground, look at the ground. And then a int for the expected like count should be 0, because if we don't like it, it's going to start to 0 in the constructor. So we've arranged all of our code here, right? We did our arrange. Now the code that we're testing is actually the constructor here. So in the act section, we'll actually make the geocache equals a new geocache. Before we were kind of putting that in this arrange section because we needed one of these to call methods on it. But in this case, we need to give it all these values here. So we can give it the latitude, we can give it the longitude. We can give it the item, we can give it the hint. Great. So we give it all those values. And we need to go get out some actuals here. So let me, let me go down some lines here. So then we'll have a string for, this is all the actuals here. Let's copy some of these in. So I want actual. So copy that, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. All right. And then instead of setting them, we'll ask the geocache what they are. So we'll get latitude. We will geocache.get longitude. We will geocache.get item. And then the get hint. Geocache get hint. Okay, and then we also need the like count, and int actual like count. Actually, we can copy paste that from here, right? Avoid some more typing if we can help it. And then we need to assert. We'll have a bunch of asserts. So we'll assert equals here, the expected latitude and the actual latitude. And we'll copy paste this one a bunch, right? We'll do that 5 times, I think, for all of our expecteds. We'll have an actual longitude, we'll have an actual item, we'll have an actual hint, we'll have an actual like count. And then we can have the other ones, the expected like count, the expected hint, the expected item, and the expected longitude. Okay, so we've got our tests. So we're testing all of the code here in our geocache class, right? We're testing the constructor, we're testing the like method, we're testing the set method, and then all the gets get tested when we test the constructor. So let's give it a run. So I'm going to say run my tests, and we'll see if we get our green check marks or our red X's. So hopefully get the green check marks. That's the good feeling. We get 3 green checks, so they all passed. All the asserts matched. All right, if you have any questions, thoughts, or concerns, let me know. See you around, folks.